When you go get takeaway food, do you ever question what packaging it comes in, or do you just accept whatever you're given? Many businesses in Singapore have actually moved over to using paper packaging because they believe it's more environmentally friendly. But is paper actually more sustainable than plastic? Let's go ask someone.
Plastic bag better. Plastic bag many can use one. Bring home and making sometimes to put kind rubbish can throw.
I think that plastic bag is actually worse than paper bag. Every day you walk around, you see plastic bag lying on the floor. People don't really throw it in the bin.
It's less environmentally friendly and it can't be degraded. I think it's worse, so paper bags are definitely better.
In recent years, plastic has developed a bad reputation for itself, and rightfully so. I mean, I'm sure we all remember the traumatizing photo of a turtle being caught in a plastic bag. Time and time again, ocean conservation groups alarm us that the amount of plastic waste entering the ocean each year is detrimental to our environment. In Singapore too, an NUS survey found that an extra 1,334 tons of plastic waste, equivalent to the weight of 92 double-decker buses, was generated from takeaway meals during the 2-month circuit breaker in 2020 alone. However, plastic waste generated in Singapore dropped compared to the year before. Instead, paper waste increased. Yay, that's good news, right? Well, what if I told you that paper could actually be more harmful than plastic? While it's not so black and white, the answer of whether paper or plastic is more environmentally friendly comes down to how much energy is used to make the bag during manufacturing, how many times can it be reused, how easy is it to recycle, and how quickly does it decompose if thrown away. Taking these into consideration, single-use plastics can actually be more environmentally friendly. According to a life cycle assessment of grocery carrier bags, common supermarket plastic bags are the carriers providing the overall lowest environmental impact even when they are not reused. Cotton tote bags, which I love so much, need to be used 131 times before they can be considered sustainable. Yikes. That's because of the high amount of fertilizer and energy needed to produce cotton yarn. As for a paper bag, it takes more than 4 times as much energy than it does to manufacture a plastic bag. This is because of the deforestation necessary to create paper, as well as the manufacturing process that creates a higher concentration of toxic chemicals. Paper is also heavier to transport compared to single-use plastic bags, which also adds to their overall carbon footprint. A paper bag will need to be reused up to 43 times before having a net environmental benefit. And with how easily some paper bags tear, I wonder whether that is possible. Before I go on, I should add that in the context of waste entering the natural environment, plastic is definitely more harmful. Not only does it take longer to disintegrate, but it also releases toxic microplastics in the environment. While you can still see a lot of trash scattered along East Coast Park, most of the waste in Singapore is actually incinerated, so this concern is less applicable to us. While that is a huge concern worldwide, Singapore is also battling another issue, the contamination of recycled waste. So while paper bags can be 100% recyclable, it just takes a little bit of contamination, even from food, for it all to be thrown into general waste. So we're here at Sembcorp's material recovery facility, and I'm joined by Megan, an expert. So Megan, what actually happens in this room?
Alright, so this room is called the tipping hall. So this big pile you see here is actually the materials collected from the blue bins around Singapore. After this tipping hall stage, the materials will actually be sent off to the sorting line, where our guys will pick out the non-recyclable items from the pile. And then it will move on to a magnetic separator, then a ballistic separator, and then finally a baling system where they will pack the final recyclables, and then they will be sent off to the downstream recyclers. So about 40 to 50% of the materials found in the blue bins actually cannot be recycled eventually. There are a few things that you can do at home to help with the recycling in Singapore, particularly for plastic beverage containers and food containers, is to make sure that they are empty and then give them a good rinse before putting them into the blue bins so that we can avoid contamination. And then for papers, I have a tip for carton boxes. If you receive an online order that comes in a carton box, right, you can slit open all the tape on it so that you can properly flatten it. That will help to increase the amount of space that is within the blue bin so that more things can be recycled in here.
Well, I can go on about the complexities of the issue, but there is something we can all do, and that's just consume less. One way we can do that is to create a circular economy. That means instead of producing new and throwing away old, we just reuse what we already have. For example, by buying pre-loved clothes, or taking your container to get takeaway food. The less we produce, the less we dispose. Simple.